Welcome, everyone. You are about to embark on a journey through the universe as you indulge in this extraordinary essence of enlightened, empowered, evolved. Let the show begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Just in time. Greetings, everyone. I'm Luke Bryan Smith, and welcome to Enlightened, Empowered, Evolved, where we educate, motivate, and liberate you through enlightening dialogues, empowering music, and evolving content. I know everyone's doing well and everything is unfolding perfectly. I'm excited again because my next extraordinary guest is a nutritional therapy practitioner, certified personal trainer, certified sports nutrition coach, and a whole lot more. But without further ado, allow me to introduce to you Lex Christian. How are you doing today, Lex?
I am doing fabulous. And how are you doing today?
I'm doing better now that I'm in the presence of such an extraordinary, amazing, phenomenal person as yourself. And I'm just so excited to speak with you today, to engage in a dialogue with you. And I just want to, before I go any further, I just want to say that I believe that time is one of our most precious assets. And for you to decide to spend even a moment of your time in the history of your timeline here with me on Enlightened, Empowered, Evolved, I just want to extend my sincerest gratitude to you. So thank you very much for being here at this present moment.
Well, thank you very much. And I appreciate you sharing your time with me as well.
Yes, yes, yes. You are very welcome. So let's just get right into it. You nutritional therapy practitioner. Can you give us a bit of insight on that, your perspectives on that, and how that developed?
Yeah, sure. So nutritional therapy is really trying to help get into people's personal life, like get into their bio-individual needs, what they would specifically need. So it's not a cookie cutter nutrition program. You know, we're going to try to like learn some health history, dig into some questions, and just kind of dive in to try to understand where any ailments they have are coming from. You know, any symptoms they have from things. Like, it's not the disease. Like, for example, if somebody was diagnosed with, say, something like diabetes, what I would want to do to help them, because it's not in my scope of practice to work with actual disease. So what I would do if I was going to help them was to say, okay, now let's get to the root cause of why diabetes developed in your body. You know, let's look at things like your blood sugar. Does your digestion need some help? And we'll try to get down to more of the root cause of things. You know, if people know they suffer from a lot of inflammation, okay, well, what's happening in your body that's causing things to get inflamed? So we just kind of try to dive deep into what's going on with you. And then that way we can kind of customize a personal plan with diet and lifestyle to try to support those issues and see if we can't help you.
Wow, that is absolutely amazing. And the reason why I say that is because everyone has, you know, from my perspective, everyone has something that they can work on more, better in regard to everything. In your case, physically, and everything also stems from something. A lot of times we brush things off, like this is just hereditary. This is this, but I'm a firm believer that you can always find a root cause in, like you said, like inflammation, or why you're having problems with your digestion, or your blood pressure, anything, and it all stems down to, and correct me if I'm wrong, to what you're putting in your body and the type of activity that you're engaged in, or lack thereof,
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, and another key component to this is also our environment that we're in. This is kind of why I'm sort of carving out a niche working in quantum biology and circadian rhythm.
Whoa,
So,
tell us a bit about that. I mean, I don't want to cut you off, but you just said two words that I know with quantum, and put them with biology. Okay, but elaborate on that a little bit.
So, so quantum biology, for anybody that might not know, quantum is basically getting into and studying things down on a small subatomic level. We're getting into the energy, breaking down that atom is the last particle of matter. And then once we get into that, we're looking at our protons, neutrons, we're starting to get into energy. And then biology, of course, is just that having to do with living things. And then circadian biology is we have a clock that's works with nature, such as we start to feel alert in the daytime. We feel tired when it's dark outside.
Right.
Those are things that people commonly know, but there's lots of internal systems that kind of have their own clock, like when we best digest food, when our body's trying to repair and recover, and our interaction with our environment, especially our light environment, has a huge role in all of that.
Oh,
So
wow.
while diet and exercise and things are, of course, very important and a huge part of the puzzle, I actually have a little analogy I can maybe clarify it to kind of
Yeah, please do.
simplify it a
Please
little
do.
bit.
Please do, Lex.
So sometimes I kind of look at how our bodies work kind of as a car.
Okay.
We have our engines that could kind of be our cells and our things that make our energy, fuel, like the gas tank, is our food that we put in it. We have the air intake and the exhaust that would kind of be our breath and our breath work. We have fluids and filters that need to be changed out, similar to our detox pathways. We have all these little components that all need to work together. And if any of those are messed up, it's all going to have an effect on how well the car runs, so to speak.
Wow,
So,
great analogy.
so we take that, and then, so now let's say we have a perfect running car. Let's say it's like fresh off the line, Ferrari, something amazing. It's just crafted beautifully and perfect and nothing's wrong with it. It's amazing. But now take that car and drive it to the bottom of a lake. How well is it going to work? Something could be absolutely perfect, but if it's in an environment that isn't conducive to it, it's going to have problems. So I kind of look at that as, our like light environment when we spend all day inside under fluorescent lights, if we're in an office or something, or we're in front of our screens. It's just kind of the way of the world today. We don't get outside in the sunlight properly, or we don't, we stay up too late. We have, there's a lot in our environment that we can control. We can't always, can't always help everything, but there is a lot in our environment we can control that can be tremendous in kind of being that last piece of the puzzle, kind of pulling everything together. Where people are like, I've been dieting and exercising and I'm just not getting any, whatever. And it must just be genetics, and they chalk it up to not being able to get better. But it's like, well, how often do you get out in the sunlight? Do you see the sunrise in the morning? Are you turning down lights at night so that your eyes can sense that darkness and know it's time to prepare you for sleep? And so I try to really incorporate that. I think that's a very overlooked thing.
Wow.
And I think just because a lot of science is just now coming out about it, so it's kind of a new area as well. So and I'm just kind of, it's something that was huge and for me in my own health journey that kind of helped, I don't know, tie it all together. When I was kind of hitting plateaus with things, like my diet and exercise was huge. I thought it was fixing everything, but then I kind of hit a spot where it's like, my digestion still isn't perfect. And do I have to eliminate more foods? What do I have to do? Do I just need to exercise a little harder? This weight isn't coming off. And then I pulled in this environmental aspect of it. And it's like, oh, okay, that's a pretty big deal. I get it now. So, so I'm trying to learn that. And as I'm learning it, I'm trying to use that to also share with my clients and people.
Wow, that is absolutely incredible that you have dissected it down to those areas, because I wouldn't have never thought it. Well, it in a way, but not the way that you mentioned it, that really, those, like our environment, that really plays key roles in our overall health, not just what we eat. And thank you for affirming that and just bringing that to our awareness, because I didn't even think of that right now. Now I do know that sun has, vitamins, but I didn't think of it on the level that you just made us aware. That's absolutely amazing.
I would actually advise somebody differently with their diet depending on the latitude they lived at and the color of their skin. Like how much melanin they have in their skin. That could actually, that would be something that I would work with somebody when I'm working with somebody individually. That would be things I would consider. Because that does play a role in what might be best for that specific person to optimize their health. So it's really a fun area to dig into and learn about.
Yes, I like what I'm hearing thus far. Amazing. So have you always, you're a certified personal trainer as well. So you help people exercise and develop the correct programs. And I can I can tell that uh, you make programs that are unique to each individual.
Hmm.
Have you always been into personal training? What was there a defining moment that drove you into that area, or have you just always just been the fitness guru?
I don't honestly, it's funny is my motivation to do that was really not thinking about fitness. I have for myself, because I have my
Right.
own goals and things I want to do, but I never really considered wanting. I never felt a personal draw to go into the fitness aspect of things.
Okay.
But however, though, if I want to help somebody optimize their health,
Mm.
movement is part of it. And so I really took the certification and the training because I just wanted to learn how to safely help people start to move. Like I kind of have in my head that I might be working with people who are more sedentary or aren't people that are big gym goers and stuff who just need to kind of do something to kind of get their blood circulating and their muscles moving. And I just wanted to have some education on how I can safely suggest things for them to do slowly and gradually so that they can
Right.
just kind of do it on their own. I kind of feel as far as people that love to go to the gym and get really into it, there's a lot of people out there that love to do that, and it would probably
Right.
be better than me. But I just want to help people safely do their thing, and so that's why I thought that education would be smart to collect
Amazing.
as well.
Wow, incredible. Can you give us, or would you like to give us, like, what is a typical day for you in regard to fitness, as far as routine, eating, can you give us a little bit of what you do? I'm interested. I'm interested.
Oh
What
gosh,
do
what
you
I do.
do? Do
Well,
you
I
you,
mean,
you wake right up out of the bed and just hit that 10-mile run? I mean, what do you do?
sometimes,
Okay.
but honestly, I'm pretty much more of a regular human, where
Okay. Okay.
I mean that I have phases. I might have several months where I am just like on top of it, and I've got I'm hitting the gym first thing in the morning. I'm doing the walks and the runs and all these things, and then I might go several months where I just fall out and
Yeah.
don't make it
Yes.
out.
I
So
think, see, let me elaborate on that. I like the way you said that I'm regular human, because I do the same thing. And from what I've witnessed, from friends and those in my proximity, the same things, and I'll see people, fluctuate in weight, including myself. Like I'm sitting a little heavier than I normally are right now, but I do love fitness, and I just haven't been on it the way I normally would like to. So yes, I thank you um, for being, you know, transparent and letting people know that, even, a fitness person like yourself goes through, phases as well.
yeah.
So you don't have to
Something
feel
always suffers,
right,
and sometimes when I'm like really busy getting into my education and trying to work on, building up my business to help
right.
people, I'm going to have phases where I'm not getting out as much. I always
Absolutely.
do a little something. I have a dog, so we go out for walks,
Right,
and I try to be very, very consistent with getting outside first thing in the morning to see the sunrise, because
right.
it is so important that we have that morning light hitting our retinas
Oh,
to
wow.
kickstart our circadian rhythm for the day, and
Oh, there you go. I
our
love it.
body needs to know what time it is, and so that's
Yes.
a huge help when we can let our body see that first morning light.
Mm,
So I
thank
try
you.
to be pretty consistent with that and step outside, and sometimes I'm just out for a few minutes, sometimes I'll stroll around the neighborhood with my dog for 30 minutes or so, or whatever. So I mean, I get out and I do a little something, but
Right.
this is actually just my first week back to the gym, actually trying
Okay.
to do some real working out, and I've
Oh, okay.
probably fallen out for about 8 months, so.
Hey,
But
hey.
hey, I've been there all week, and I mean, I'm not in shape yet, so I guess I have to go back again. But but whatever. I'm trying to just get in the routine again. It just goes, it ebbs and flows. I just don't
Right.
think any of us are going to be perfect all the time.
Right,
It's
right.
kind of.
No, thank you for highlighting that, because that's very encouraging. And it's not to give people excuses, but just to let them know, just get back into it. As long as you get back into it, get back up and balance.
Every day's a new opportunity to kind of switch it up. Every moment is a new opportunity to switch it up.
Absolutely.
So it's,
Absolutely.
you know,
Absolutely. So, yes, so usually, or if there is a usually, what type of when people come to you, what kind of results are they looking for? I mean, what kind of problems or results do you help people with? Are they having problem with their eating, or problem exercising? They need something um, custom put, developed for them. I mean, is there, or is just everything?
Well, I would say the most popular one is weight loss. I think,
Right.
and I think most of us don't realize we need to make a change until we look in the mirror, step on the scale, and kind of like, ugh, you know.
Yeah. Like, wait a
So,
minute, this jacket won't close anymore.
right, yeah, my clothes shrank. This is weird,
Yeah.
and I don't usually want to
My-
like really push weight loss in this. I'm going to try to say this correctly. There's absolutely nothing wrong if people want to lose weight, and
right.
that's their goals. We all want to look or feel better.
Right.
I try to not make it a big thing, because I think if that becomes your primary focus,
Right.
then people tend to be willing to make sacrifices on their health to get the
Mm.
results of the weight loss, like extreme starvation diets, or, just do, or the weight loss pills, or whatever the case may be. Like, they'll
Right.
do extreme things because they just want those results in the mirror. And I
Right.
really want to try to help encourage people that it's like, let's get into, why are you overweight? It's not just as simple as, oh, I eat too much. I mean, like, let's dig into that and let's understand what's happening in your body that's hanging on to that weight. Let's optimize your health. And then a symptom of getting healthier is the weight will come off. That's kind of more of the perspective I try to take with people. So,
Right.
but as far as them approaching me, it's usually because their weights fluctuated and they start to
Mhm.
panic. I don't know what's going on. I can't live like this anymore.
Right.
That's
Right.
our visual indicator that something's not right. We don't
Right.
always know we're feeling bad from the food we're eating.
Right.
It's more like we see our waistline and go, I gotta do something about this.
And I love it how you said that not just, it's not as simple as just, oh, stop eating as much. You really look into, intricate parts of as to why, you know, the things are happening the way they are for each individual. And that to me is important. That way you can, optimize in the healthiest way, to go about it. And that's important because, like you said, like you highlighted, oftentimes people will take drastic measures that may or may not be good for their health, and oftentimes it isn't.
Right.
You
And
know,
then they're going to end up rebounding. I'll
then
see
they'll
people that
rebound,
have super fast results and they're, great. And I'll just kind of think to myself, let me see in 5 years. Let's see where you're at,
or even
because
less than that.
yeah, or even less than that in some cases, and
Yes,
that's not to insult people or take away the hard work people put
right,
into when they do
right,
those. I'm just, there's enough of that information out there. If you want a fad diet, if you want a crash diet, if you want to reduce your eating to where you're starving yourself and killing yourself on a treadmill, there is more than enough people out there that can guide you to do it that way. I just want to try to have a different approach where people don't have to be on such a strict timeline. We're not trying to prove anything. There's no race to be won. Let's just get into a spot where we start, you know, slowly implementing healthy lifestyle changes, where you can just make a little change, you hang out there until it kind of becomes your new normal and it doesn't feel weird or uncomfortable anymore. And then you can just do a little something else. And then just all of a sudden one day you're healthy and awesome and don't even realize how you did it because you didn't have to
right,
weigh food and count calories and just, oh,
right,
that's just no way to live.
right, right. No, that's incredible the way, yeah, you you orchestrated that you relayed that. I like it. It feels good. Just listening to the way that you said you go about it. That's amazing. Because oftentimes that's not what we hear. It's the other side. It's the crash diet. Don't eat this. Take these pills. Do this. And yes, no, and
And
yeah,
I get very frustrated with kind of the mainstream narrative and the information out there,
right, right,
and it's I just feel like a lot of times people are left when things don't work as fast as it does for someone else. It's hard on people's like self-esteem and self-worth.
right,
They're like, well, I
right,
just must, you know, be somebody with bad genetics, or I just must not be disciplined enough. People are kind of left to feel that way. Well, you're not losing
right,
weight. Well, what are you doing wrong? You must not be counting your calories hard enough, or you must not be as strict
right.
as you should be. And everyone's kind of left to feel like, I know for many years I just felt this horrible shame, like,
Yeah.
why can't I do it?
Failure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right.
why can't I be strong and disciplined like these people I see on the internet, or the friends around me, why can't,
Right.
what's wrong with me and why am I weak and why, it's like, that's just
Yeah.
awful. And,
Yeah. No way to live. And that's,
and
thank
food
you.
addiction is a real thing too,
No, it is. It is. It
and,
certainly is. It
and I've
certainly
had
is.
some serious battles with that. That's been a
Oh,
really, really long road for me. And part of probably my personal story that's kind of drove me to do what I'm doing is just to kind of see like, gosh, there's some, I feel like I could really be helpful to some people out there because
oh, absolutely. Because that alone, what you just um, shared, um, a bit of vulnerability and transparency in regard to, battles with food. A lot of people are going to relate to that. And that, to me, makes you a very powerful, asset to people that are struggling through those same things right now. And they can see that you have had that battle, but yet you've achieved results. Now, that's what I look for when someone is giving me advice. I look for, okay, let me see, can you really relate to what I've been through?
right.
And what results do you have? So
Yeah.
yes, that's very powerful. And I'm thankful that you shared that, because that's a key component that you mentioned that you've struggled with
It's,
food.
it's a tricky thing, like it's really just now kind of hitting a point where I think that in the science world, there's kind of enough information out there where they can start to like acknowledge that it's an actual addiction.
Right,
Like, most of the time people are just, oh, you're just kind of blown off, it's just kind of like, oh,
right,
whatever. You just need to,
right.
just need to be a little more disciplined. You just need to get it
No,
together.
no.
And then of course there's behavioral addictions, which anything can turn into that if someone turns to that. But
Right.
what we're actually finding though, that the processed foods and things like that, like
Mhm.
actually fire up the brain similar to
Right,
cocaine. It's like we
right.
are quite literally putting ourselves on drugs when we're eating some of these foods, and then people are trying to moderate it. And um, I get very frustrated with the term moderation when it comes to food, and it makes sense. I understand that because
Sounds good.
yeah, well, yeah, we don't want to think that we can never have a bite of something, like enjoying something on the holidays and stuff like that. So, so it makes sense. But at the same time, sometimes I look at it, it's like, well, I've never heard anybody look at a heroin addict and say, you just need to learn how to use that in moderation. Or, or a crackhead, can't you just ease up with it? Why don't you just do that on Tuesday?
Wow. Wow. I love how that
So
analogy that you just made.
yeah,
Wow.
so you look
Powerful.
at the people that really struggle with food sometimes, and it's just like you just need to learn how to moderate. It's like, oh, really? Is that my problem? Gee, why didn't I think of that? It's like, you know, it's like sometimes we need to understand what we're really dealing with, and
Right.
and so when I made my big diet changes, I looked at it more as I'm in recovery, not I'm on a
Mm.
diet. It's like I
Wow.
had, I had to learn to eliminate the, that abstinence is so far the best proven method to deal with addiction. And so, I kind of had
Absolutely.
to work some of these foods I do have to be abstinent from. It's not
Right.
okay to do those in moderation. Doesn't mean I
Right.
don't enjoy my eating, and it doesn't mean I don't have some things that, are little treats and things. There's always
Right.
ways to
Right.
learn yourself and figure it out. But I mean, but some things are just, you know, are just a
Amazing.
no. And
Wow. Amazing. Yes. Very unique approach. And I resonate with your perspectives and your approach. Very assuring, very empowering, and just encouraging. Yes, and I thank you for taking on that real life perspective, so to speak, instead of this unrealistic expectations and these narratives that we've heard so much in regard to health and weight loss. You're not following the sheep, and that's amazing. And
yeah, I couldn't find my path that way. And now I'm like, man, if I can just help the people that are just fed up and they've tried it all, I'm
right.
hoping those are the people that will find me because it's like,
Yes,
well,
and
like I'll work with you. I'm a little crazy, and I've got my, I have my mental days, just like anybody else. I struggle with things, and I'm not perfect, and nobody has to be.
nope,
Life does
nope,
not require us to be perfect. We are not,
nope.
what we see people portray on the internet, and
Absolutely. And that's why I've been transparent too about, um, on my shows. If those who have watched a lot of my shows, they see, hey, yes, I've I've had a point where I've been on antidepressants. I've had a point where I've sought out counseling, a psychiatrist, all that, and I am not ashamed.
Yeah,
And I know I'm not perfect. I'm perfectly who I am, but
yeah,
I'm a work in progress and perfect at the same time. A
exactly.
work in progress and a masterpiece, and that's what I think we all are. We're perfect in who we are, but at the same time, we're always a work in progress. And there's
Yes.
always something that, we're always in a state of developing. And I'm not ashamed of any of that. And that's why I think I relate to you already. It's because of the way that you're not trying to come across like you just have all the answers perfectly. And you do have room for just you leave room for I don't know how to explain it, but it's just amazing. And
Well, I want
it's
to
not,
leave room
yeah,
for people to understand that they are always going to be the best authority of themselves.
right,
I just want to help, just sometimes we just need a little help with some guidance or some accountability or maybe just some education on things that,
right,
somebody hasn't been able to figure out. Being
right.
somebody that's into being very natural and connecting with nature and all this stuff, I've been somebody who's been on the side of, oh, people that need medication for their mental stuff,
Hmm.
that's just
Hmm.
whatever. And
Hmm.
I've been judgmental of it before. And then finally
Absolutely.
one day I realized that I was not conquering my mental stuff with my diet and exercise like I thought I was. And
Right,
I had to go seek help and
right,
realize, it's like, and so I had to kind of like look at everything, and then I started shaming myself. Oh, I'm weak and I have, it took help with some medication and took help with some therapy. But it really, it doesn't matter what you have to do, do
right,
whatever you got to do to do
right,
things, and I will keep supporting my health the best I can. And if
right,
I hit a point in my life where I no longer need any help, other outside help like that, then fantastic. But even if I do, or even if somebody else does, it still doesn't hurt optimizing your health to medications are going to have their consequences too. I mean,
right.
that's just the way it works,
Absolutely, absolutely.
and so if you can still optimize your health so that your body can best process those things and,
Mm.
keep you going a little longer, like it's not about judgment. It doesn't have to be black and white. You don't have to be perfectly all natural. You don't have to whatever. And it's not about any shame, how you needed to go find
Absolutely,
your own help. Let's just take
absolutely,
your circumstances and let's make the best plan for you to, just feel a little better and enjoy life a little more. It's
absolutely.
there's
Well
mind
put.
over matter and then there's matter over mind. It's like there's, sometimes we do just need to have a better outlook on things and that great mindset to just kind of pull our body into feeling physically better. But
Right,
sometimes we need our physical body to keep up with our mindset too. And
right.
there's that other side of it where, sometimes feeling better physically changes the mindset.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And
Oftentimes
so,
it does.
yeah, and it kind of goes back and forth, and I think it's different upon different circumstances, and so it's just kind of that's kind of what I do when I'm at a loss with stuff. If I'm not feeling great mental and I don't have any answers, well, let me just go out and do something physical. Maybe I'll feel better, and
Wow. Yes.
physical isn't helping. Well, maybe I need to do a little spiritual work or a little mental help, and maybe that'll, it's we
Yes.
just need options. We just need options and tools, right? So that at any given moment, wherever we're sitting and however we're feeling, we have things to grab and look for, or we can find solutions, but we have to know what's out there. We have to know ourselves. We have to know what works for us.
Absolutely. Wow. Thank you very much, Lex. Before we conclude, can you share a link or some links that people can find you?
Yeah, sure. So I do need to disclose that I'm very new at starting to put myself out here in the world, in the internet world. So I do have a website. My business is Fierce Wellness because we have to be fierce to take our life, our health in our hands, right?
Absolutely.
Got to be fierce to keep digging the truth. That's really what it is, where the fierce came from. Um, but anyway, to answer your question, so fiercewellness.org is my website that has a little bit of information, and I do have a Facebook page, Fierce Wellness, and I don't. I have an Instagram that's fierce.lex, and then I'm Lex Christian, Christian spelled with an X on Facebook as well. There is some just basic information that I put out there because I just wanted to kind of get started so people had a place to find me and can kind of start reading up a little bit and understanding a little bit more about what I do.
Right.
But I am preparing to some information. So I'd like to create a Facebook group where I can have a free community that people can join, where I can kind of explain some of these like quantum biology and circadian rhythm concepts, because they can be, it can get kind of I can speak, pardon me. It can get kind of sciencey, and it can get kind of confusing. And I want to try to find a way to just like offer some free content where people can kind of start to understand what it is and what it means to them. And so I would just say at this point, follow my page on Facebook. And then as I get the group started, I'll make announcements there, and I'll, send out invites and stuff. And then people can kind of, whatever, play around with it. Because I definitely want to give back to people. And I definitely think there's plenty of information out there that general information that people need to kind of get started and to sort of get them on their path for their journey. And then if you hit a plateau, or you have some questions, or feel like, you just can't get past a certain spot on your own, then I'd be more than happy to work with somebody one-on-one and, kind of work through those things. So yeah, so I guess that's it for now. But like I said, I know there isn't a lot of information out there yet because I'm new, but the figuring out the learning curve of technology.
Hey, you're doing an
Yes,
excellent
yes,
job,
it
and I am thankful that I am part of your elevating and growth and expanding process, that I can be of, a tool to help to highlight what you are doing now and in the process of doing. I'm so thankful for that. So yes, thank you very much again, Lex, for bringing incredible value to myself and the audience and those that are listening and to the podcast. Just thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity to share my story a little bit. It means a lot to me. Thank you.
Absolutely. And I enjoyed listening to you today. And thank you everyone for watching and/or listening. Thank you for sharing your time here with us today at this moment. Whenever you are watching this, whatever platform, be sure to hit the like button, the subscribe button, share this, get this incredible information out there and help the platform grow as well. And cultivate, it's just these incredible healthy mindsets and lifestyles. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Until next time, love and appreciation to you all. Enlightened, empowered, evolved. See you soon.